This is The Speaking Show. I'm David Newman, and you're tuned in to the #1 podcast for speakers, consultants, and experts who want to speak more profitably. All right, my friends, online, it doesn't have to be as hard as you're making it. In fact, you're probably making it harder than it needs to be. The guy that's going to help us unravel, detangle, and monopolize and dominate online is here, Mr. Mark Firth. Welcome to the show.
It's so great to be here, David. I got to say, I love your glasses. I love that look. We haven't spoken for a while, but
Thank you. Thank you. Well, fashion plate aside, one of my other interests and pursuits is totally online marketing, where you are the rock star. Tell us a little bit about when entrepreneurs and business owners and consultants and coaches come your way. What are some of the mistakes, or either mistakes or assumptions about either taking their business online or magnifying and scaling the online business that they have? What are some just goofy things that you've seen?
I would love to give you a tactic that solves it all. I would love to give you a quote unquote LinkedIn Connect message that converts at 90%, or the message that gets the right people on the call. But from my experience, since early 2018, when I went out on my own, and we've worked with hundreds of clients, it is this simple thing that I'm about to describe. You don't learn the thing by thinking about the thing. You learn the thing by doing the thing. Thinking about the thing is the equivalent of starting a journey from Tampa to San Diego and waiting until you see the California state line before you actually start the journey. It just doesn't work. By actually doing the thing, that's how we learn. And I think that the online industry, just to expand, we both know it. I think there's a lot of coaches that teach tactics like, the tactical level, and people take these tactics and then they don't know how to implement them. What people need to do is, instead of being told what to think, they need to learn how to think. There's a great book I'm reading at the moment, I'm halfway through it, called Winning by Tim Groover. He was the guy that coached Michael Jordan and Kobe. And he says the only way to be successful is to create your own way of thinking. That's how to think, not what to think. And there's so many programs telling people what to think, and they all come out looking the same. It's like copying. People say, don't copy. Then they go to a program and they copy what people tell them. It's crazy. So that is my opinion on that topic. Does that make sense?
Yes, no, absolutely. So let's rewind the clock. And I want to talk about LinkedIn and you're doing all kinds of cool things with your clients on LinkedIn. How did you initially come to the work that you're doing today? And what were some interesting stops along the journey?
Oh, well, I hired someone that basically told me all the reasons I had written down as to why I couldn't start a business were complete. I don't swear, right? That's one of the things. But they were that, right? And I just went back to what I knew. I've always been in B2B. I worked at IBM. I worked at Siemens. I've worked at startups. I've always known how to position into business. I spent, thousands of hours in front of business owners. I know what they want. I know how they communicate it. And I know how to get in front of them. And that's why I just started teaching people what I knew. And I'd convinced myself before I spoke to this coach that I didn't know enough. And that's the second thing. It's imposter syndrome. They know more. I don't know enough. How can I compete with them? Newsflash, not a lot of them do. And the sooner you realize that, the more you take action. So that's how I got going.
And then let's talk specifically about this sort of LinkedIn social engineering that you do, because it's really, really fascinating. I know it's a complex topic. Take us into it like Denzel Washington would say, tell it to me like I'm a 5-year-old.
All right, so I'm going to give you some statistics. And first of all, I'm going to preface this, my British accent. I'm in the process of moving to the States, by the way, David, hopefully on an investment visa. So I'm practicing my accent. But I'm not a fan of big tech. I don't love any platform. I don't love LinkedIn. I don't love Facebook. I don't love Clubhouse. They are a tool to me in which to further my business and help people change their lives, right? So when you have that perspective, you don't become a fanboy. You start looking at the stats. And the stats are this. You can Google this. I'm not going to give you the sources. But the average user, do you know how long the average user spends on Facebook? Do you want to warrant a guess compared to LinkedIn?
I'm going to say, month. Per month. Boy, they spend 4 times as much time on Facebook.
Oh, it's not even close. 41 minutes on LinkedIn, over 18 hours on Facebook. The active users on LinkedIn, according to the stats that I check, are around 303 million. Total users on the platform, 700 and something million, even post-COVID. Facebook, you're talking 2.8 billion, right? The reality is that LinkedIn is not what the LinkedIn coaches say. They don't look into the stats. People don't spend much time on that. That's why people come up, and you've probably heard people say this, oh, they're never online. They don't post content. Oh, I can't reach them. That's because it's a transactional platform. If you want bread, you go to a baker. If you want fish, you go to a fishmonger. If you want to be entertained, you don't go to LinkedIn. You go there because you want something. That's why people don't spend so much time on the platform. And combine that with the new restrictions, and this might go out of date very quickly, but LinkedIn is cracking down on the cold messaging. It's no secret that people are not getting results. So what we do is we drive Facebook traffic to LinkedIn profiles. And the users on Facebook are actually more wealthy. The stats say that, it's an more elderly demographic. And there's various statistics say that actually more B2B decision makers are on Facebook than LinkedIn. But they like to do business on LinkedIn. It's that transactional thing, right? They go to LinkedIn to do business. So we just drive Facebook traffic to LinkedIn messages and do live events, and it works grand. As simple as that.
So break down for us how you work with your clients. I'm imagining there has to be some strategy for targeting on Facebook. Then there has to be the right kind of profile on LinkedIn. Then you have to have the right kind of either activity or messaging flow on LinkedIn that kind of takes them step by step. Wow. Can you just kind of walk us through the major phases of that funnel?
Yep. We'll go through positioning, pre-framing, presentation, preeminence, and productization. We'll just go through the first four because we're not about putting the product today. The productization is when you've got too many clients, right? If you've got that, just message me, we'll deal with that. But positioning, first of all, there's two reasons that people buy to B2B. And I learned this on literally the first day of my first sales job in 2003. My manager took me in a room and said they buy B2B because they want to make money or save money. And that extends arguably to even relationship coaching, which is supposedly B2C. People get a relationship coach because obviously they have non-monetary reasons, but also they don't want a 200 grand lawyer's bill, right? So when we come to B2B, it's about making money or saving money. And too many people are using ambiguous phrases like, I help CEOs get unstuck and move forward. Unstuck from what? Move forward to where? So you've got to have a compelling message. It doesn't have to be different to what the market's doing, but it has to be presented in a different way and has to speak clearly to a pain point versus an outcome. And people, it's like there's lots of heart-centered coaches going, oh, don't talk about pain. But at the end of the day, if we fell over on the street and we hurt our wrist and our ankle, we couldn't get up and someone offers us a hand, we'll get up. But if we're walking down the street and someone offers to try and give us money, we're going to be like, what's going on here? Do you know what I mean? When people don't know people, they tend to move away from pain as towards pleasure. Tony Robbins talks about this. Various people, the books of psychology will talk about moving towards or moving away. So move them away from pleasure, move them to desirable outcome and make sure it makes them money or saves them money. In terms of pre-framing, I'm not a big one for engagement-based content, especially if you're a serious B2B consultant, because if you look at a lot of the influencers on LinkedIn, their target is tailored to target everyone from a 9-to-5 employee, a vice president, a CEO, a coach, a life coach, a business coach, i.e. everyone. It's super broad and they get a lot of followers. They post a quote like, be your best and you will win your best. But then when someone who solves a specific problem for a very specific market tries to do that, they find out they grow followers, but followers that don't buy. And they're never going to buy because they don't fit the specific problem and the criteria. So I always talk about pre-framing. That doesn't mean be boring. You can go and do your entertaining stuff, but make sure you're speaking to a specific market and a specific problem and not going for engagement and vanity metrics. That's the quickest way to build a presence online. I've got 8,000 followers on LinkedIn. I'm like, in terms of someone that works on LinkedIn, I have none. But yeah, I've got a huge email list and I own that email list because I'd much rather have an email list than I would a LinkedIn followers when I can be thrown off the platform at any time and they control who sees my content. Next, presentation. Have a presentation you can do one-to-many. So what we do, just to break it down, is all we do is we put a advert in front of people, the target market on Facebook, speaking to the specific problem, which we've just spoke about, and talking based on a specific position that targets active buyers. The research shows only 3% at any one time are looking to buy. You know that. There's only a certain amount. The rest are not actively looking. And if you're going like on LinkedIn, you've got 20 connects a day. Hi, are you looking to buy this? Hi, are you looking to buy this? Hi, are you looking... Like, good luck. Just pay you don't even have to pay much. We can get going with $1,000. We can get in front of thousands of people and pull out the ones actively looking to problem solve. Send it. So we take their email and on the thank you page, the email is a registration for a live event. And on the thank you page, we send them to LinkedIn. And we don't even need to have a conversation strategy because the majority have already seen my stuff. They're like, hey, looking forward to the webinar. Hey, looking forward to the webinar. And we got a conversation. So My strategy is you've got the email, you've got their SMS, you've got them on LinkedIn, and you're going to speak to them at a live event, and you've got LinkedIn messaging versus, hi, do you need my stuff? Hi, do you need my stuff? So that's a very quick breakdown. Does that make sense?
It does. Wow. That's like a whirlwind tour. That's totally fantastic. Hey, this interview is a real moneymaker. If you're serious about ramping up your reach and revenue as a speaker, trainer, or expert, book a confidential speaker strategy call with our team. The link is doitmarketing.com/call. It will be the most valuable 45 minutes you invest in your speaking-driven business. Speaking of value, let's get back to the show. So I want to do this.
Yep.
And I come to you and I say, Mark, dude,
yep,
I am ready. I am excited. Sign me up. Put me in, coach. What do we work on first? Do we work on the profile? Do we work on this webinar? Do you help coach them through what needs to be in the webinar, for example? Or kind of what are the moving parts of this?
So it's a great question. And again, I'm going to slightly rebel. Is that okay? Against
It's always okay. Always
good,
okay.
Because there tends to be this one size fits all, online. First of all, you have to go through the Trello board. Define your ideal client. Define your program. Do the worksheets. Look, but everyone comes at a different stage. We've got people who we need to do positioning with, but we've got a lady called Melanie Power, who's based in Australia, who's already got a huge business and exited one. So she goes straight to webinar. So we actually do a call where we look at where the business is. We look at if it's generating clients consistently, if they've got inbound leads, if they haven't, if they've got an offer that's going to work, and we really go from there. But yeah, absolutely, we teach the whole lot. And we prioritize depending on where people are, what their audience assets are. If they have no audience, no followers, you don't have to have it. But yeah, it's not a one size fits all. And the program's kind of built as a result of that. I've moved away from module 1, module 2, module 3, module 4. We just have the positioning, we have the pre-framing, we have the presentation, the preeminence, and the productization. You go where you need to go. It's as simple as that. Yeah.
Perfect. Let's go behind the scenes because you have built a beautiful, big, juicy business.
Yep.
You seem still very relaxed and in the groove. And, even though you and I have a similar hairstyle, you are not pulling out your hair, stressed out, crazy, working 25 hours a day. Tell us how it went from Mark solo to Mark and the first couple of people to now Mark and the team and the machine that you've built.
Such a difficult question to answer. I can only to anyone listening, I can only share my personal experience of this. And that's the first thing, because it's going to be different for everyone. There's no, contrary to what the gurus may tell you, there's no magic connect message. There's no one easy button that's going to change your life when you buy their $37 product. For me, there was lack of confidence. There was imposter syndrome. And I think the most powerful thing for me is once you take the action and you realize that you get knocked down, you can come back up. You get knocked down, you come back up. That's where the confidence comes from. The confidence doesn't come from walking the walk before you talk the talk. I mean, that's arguably important, but it comes from getting knocked down and then realizing you can figure stuff out. As we were showing before, I accidentally deleted a 10,000 email list and the backup failed. That was this October 2019. And we built up from that. We've had ad accounts shut down. We've had various bits and pieces. We've made bad hires. But it's just learning to just have faith and learn to expect success. And I think if I could boil it down to this, we sit down on a chair because we expect it to support our weight. If we're at a function and we're all there in a bow tie and it's a banquet, like the Queen has, I've got to add a British reference in, right? I can't do that. And we're going to sit down on the chair because we expect it to support our weight. And we don't go flailing around in front of, everyone and anyone that's important in society. And it's the same with a business. We take action because we expect the results. For all the high-value mentors, high-earning mentors, 25 million, 50 million that I've worked directly with, they all have an expectation that what they will do will lead to success. And even when it doesn't, they're like, great, fantastic, I've learned this, we'll move it on. They don't collapse like a snowman on a hot day as soon as something doesn't work. And I think that's the best way to summarize and sum it up. Does that make sense?
It does. Who is the first person that you hired? As an employee, as a team member?
Oh, sorry, I completely misunderstood the question.
That's okay. It was a great answer to a question I didn't ask. So I still love that answer.
I hired a
person talking about the Mark world. Oh, okay. First hire, second hire, building the team, training the team, getting them to kind of drink the Kool-Aid the way that you want them to drink the Kool-Aid.
It's different for everyone. I need structure. I do the big creative stuff. I had an executive assistant who just took control of everything that I didn't like doing. Yeah. After that, I hired a salesperson. That's as simple as that. An executive assistant and a salesperson. And we hit 90 grand a month with just an executive assistant and myself. We didn't even need a salesperson at that point. And then we did hire, So.
And then how big is the team now?
Oh, we're small. I did the whole auto webinar thing. I had 2 salespeople. I had the exec assistant, someone else. And I take responsibility for this. And what I'm about to say is not any way, shape, or form me devolving responsibility. It was like running a kindergarten. I was doing a job. I was checking up on the sales calls. I was doing this. I was doing that. People wouldn't make it. I had to do the calls. And I stopped enjoying it. I got burnt out. December last year, I'm like, no more. And we've rebuilt the business just for doing a live webinar once a week and tell people the price, 2 days of calls, that's it. And I'm working less than ever and the profit is better than ever.
Tremendous. Now, let's talk about your personal life. So family, kids, moving to the States. What does lifestyle look like? What are you looking forward to personally going forward?
So we're applying for investment visa to the States, which is not officially moving to the States. I have to say that. It's a temporary non-immigrant visa. They give you 5 years should we be successful. And then I will go back to the UK or Colombia. But yeah, married, 2 kids. We're still with Paola, who I was with back in 2017. A second one's arrived called Sienna. Sam started his first day at school. I'm the one that goes and picks them up and takes them there. And that's important, It's the little things that make all the difference. And Colombia is wonderful when you're a 30-something with hair. Once you've got 2 kids, you're thinking about education and you haven't got any hair. The US is still one of the, in my opinion, the best country on the planet. I mean, I see a lot of the news and we're not going to go down that. All I'm going to say is that spend a couple of months in Colombia and then start complaining. Do you know what I mean?
Right.
Let's leave it there.
Talk about, Mark, your kind of personal productivity. How do you get what you need done in the day so that you can spend time, as much time as you want, with your beautiful wife, the kids, taking them to school, having hobbies, having fun? What are the guardrails that you put in place, or what are some productivity practices that you enjoy?
I think trying is the problem for a lot of people, and that used to be the problem for me. Trying won't get you anywhere. Hustle, the Gary Vee. Look, like it or love it. I'm not a fan of the hustle, and that's why I changed the business model I've got. I think you should build a business for your life and not a life for your business. That captures it in a nutshell. There's no wrong or right way to do it. People are telling people how they should and shouldn't run a business without understanding their life. You can go in a lot of these 20-something programs, the sharp suits, work, fasting. They're in a minimalized apartment. They're literally sat there on a desk, water fasting. They've sold all their furniture, every single picture, so they can focus on the business. That's not what I want to do. Fair on them. I'm not imposing on anyone's free will. I just want to run it how I want to run it. And I've learned, it's funny how that things happen, but one to many is the most powerful way to do that. Tapping on the shoulder, one-to-one messaging. No, just learn to speak to an audience, learn to qualify. It's very difficult to eliminate a sales call completely. Otherwise, a lot of businesses like Salesforce and IBM would probably have done that. Let's be honest. But you can, if you think about a continuum from zero certainty to complete certainty, that's marketing in a nutshell. You can now get people a lot further along it through doing, live events and that sort of thing. So the sales calls are formality and you only get the right people on it. That's what I try and do. So I don't
really, really important. Absolutely. Yeah. Now, I want to talk a little bit about your own personal social media, because you do something that I really admire and I wish more people would do, which is you speak the truth. You have no problem with myth busting and the emperor has no clothes and what's going on with this kind of person and this kind of coach and all the hot air and all the overpromise, underdeliver world that we operate in. The problem, of course, is that your competition, my competition, is the last terrible experience that client has had hiring a coach or a mentor. Talk about how do you think about that kind of social media manifesto, those posts that really speak truth to power, and then how do people usually respond to that?
Okay, so just first to qualify, I never will name any names on social media.
Sure.
I'm one of these people that I won't even put messages on social media because people did that to that when I got started. And I think we can all safely say that some of the stuff we've all done in our career, and anyone listening, we look back at it, we're like, oh my God, did I do that? And that's why I will never publish a name and I will never publish, these public hangings when people want to engage. Oh my God, look at this message. I will never criticize somebody for trying to sell something because we never work hard at becoming something we despise. And last time I checked, sales is the lifeblood of the business. With that said, I will call out these approaches that I don't believe in ethically and morally. I have a value system. I find that my clients have a value system. I've probably lost a lot of clients by doing it, but I've seen people come and go in this industry. I mean, I'm by no means a veteran, but going back to following it beginning of 2017, that's 17, 18, 19, nearly 5 years, right? A lot of these direct messaging, hard sales, they come and go like a fart in the wind, right? They do not have the sustainability for a long-term business. You see them come, you see them go. So I'm never going to be able to bring everyone around because everyone does want the easy switch. I don't market to the easy switch. My system is easy, but it does require some work. And so I will call out people who are promising things that are not realistically. And I know, Dave, it's difficult. Like when someone starts saying things, I had someone message me the other day, right? I can get you 900 calls in a month, like organically. I'm like, why would I want 900 calls? I can't think of anything worse. Do you know what I mean? And it is difficult. I think my philosophy to marketing is market on your value system, market on who you are, as opposed to how you do it. That attracts the best clients. That's all I do. And will I probably suffer as a result in terms of growth? No, but I'll enjoy the business. And I can at least go to bed knowing that I act congruently with my value system and the way my mum brought me up. That's it in a nutshell,
Exactly. No, that's really, really great. I know that the webinar strategy has worked so well for you. Do you do anything with live events or virtual events or these 2 or 3 day kind of boot camp events, or have you not gone down that path?
No, I do a 5-day challenge, and the 5-day challenge is paid. And the 5-day challenge is basically a 2-day event broken down over 5 days. I couldn't do a 2-day. That's too much.
Yeah.
I've got the whiteboard there. And the 5-day challenge, there's no screen share in sight. It's the whiteboard for the whole time, and it's teaching people the fundamentals rather than the tactics. That's worked really well. So that's my version of a long event. Definitely, it's worked really well.
And then the 5-day challenge, you run that a couple of times a year?
No, we tend to do it every 6 weeks.
Very nice.
It doesn't need many people on. I mean, and we've done it a few times now. So it's literally what I would call an asset. We need these assets. I've got the worksheets. I know what to say. And we should all have those assets, in the business.
I think people need to rehear that this is not a free challenge. It is a paid challenge.
Yeah.
So is it like 97, 197? What's the price point?
We run 2 levels. We do 197 for via VIP, which is when they will get 1 hour with me to ask questions, then 1 hour of the teaching. If they just want the teaching, we run it at 97. I've just found that that's the quickest way to separate the serious people from the not so serious people. No criticism. You can be either. It's just
sure. No, of course. And then what is the offer during that challenge, and sort of how's the offer mechanism baked into the 5-day challenge?
We offer the chance for people to apply if they want to and make that decision. And that's it. We don't make a big presentation. We just offer the chance for them to apply based on what they've seen. And it's really as simple as that. I mean, simple is the best, I think. Right. There's no heavy funnels or anything like that. And it's great. I enjoy doing them because I really, I think that if I can summarize why I do it, the most powerful way to show someone that you can help them is by actually helping them. And that's how we do it.
Super quick commercial break. Isn't this interview amazing? If you'd like to get more ideas on how to start or grow your speaking business fast, pop over to our free training at doitmarketing.com/webinar. Well, Mark, I'm going to ask you 2 final questions as we start to wrap up. The final question, I know we have some gifts and some goodies and some links to share with people, so we'll get to that. Second to last question, if you were to share one overarching concept about online business success or any of the topics that we've talked about, what would you like that overarching concept that we're leaving folks with?
People buy who you are, not what you do. And I've got to be honest, it's in a Dan Kennedy book I just read, and he qualifies that by saying the more you charge, the more people buy who you are, not what you do. The best clients don't want a Trello board. They don't want an Excel sheet. They don't want any of that stuff. They want the result. And if someone does want that, bye-bye. That's it. So concentrate on being who you are, share your value systems, and people will come to you.
Tremendous. All right. Now, people are going to want to connect and stay connected to more Mark Firth brilliance. Where can we send them? What are the links? Where should they go?
My platforms of choice are Facebook and LinkedIn under my name, The Bold Guy, probably wearing the same clothes. My branding person told me I had to. And my website is www.markfirthonline.com. It's being rebuilt. We made a bad hire and it destroyed it. Or you can go to and true to what we talk about, we do the live training, clientsimpact.com/training1. And that 1 is not the ONE, it's just the number. clientsimpact.com/trading1. But yeah, you'll come into my world through my website, social media.
Wow. Well, such a pleasure to catch up with you, Mark. Thank you for sharing all of this wisdom. Rapid fire. This is an episode that people will want to rewind, listen to again, take another walk around the block, do whatever you need to do, or even better, sit down at your desk with a pen and a piece of paper and take some notes, because this was fast and furious, and it always sounds about 20% smarter with an English accent. So
I've heard it's 10%. I heard Australians at 15%.
No, I'm putting UK at 20, Australia's 15. You know why? Because the Australians, they're all surfer dudes. I mean, they sound like they're fun, but the UK folks sound like they're smart. And I'm not sure what that makes Americans, but what can you do? All right, my friend, I appreciate you. Thank you for sharing all this brilliance with us. Well, that wraps up another episode of The Speaking Show. Hey, tell you what, if you like us, rate us and review us on iTunes. Subscribe. Tell a friend. Go grab the notes and downloads and extras at thespeakingshow.com. See you next time.